None of your business. Who am I? Stop asking questions.
Well met.
Who am I?
I am sorry.
Stop asking questions. Who am I? 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 None of your business. None of your business. Stop asking questions.
Well met. I am sorry.
Weapon ready.
Thank you.
Who am I? None of your business.
If you guys have never watched that video, you need to watch it. The clip of Raynad nodding his head gets me every single time. What is up, all? Welcome to yet another amazing episode of Tavern Talk, THL's first and only official recap show. Season 2, Week 1 is in the books. We are heading into Week 2 of some epic showdowns and throwdowns. We're going to have finally, after many mishaps and misconnections, we finally got Rad Dreams on tonight. He'll be joining us. We got some great house rules. I have the day off tomorrow. I apologize in advance for everybody's liver. So our rules. Whenever Tinder's brought up, I promise you it will be a topic tonight. Whenever everybody says "got 'em," during our Wicked Wednesday recap, it's going to be Power Hour. For those of you who don't know how that goes, every minute you take a drink. So,
What?
oh
No one
baby,
told me about this.
oh baby,
You want us to die?
welcome to Tavern Talk. Whenever I stutter or forget how to speak, which tends to happen, and whenever anyone says "oh man," so hopefully Slimsh is having one of those nights. Uh, With me, as always, to my left, your right, is the one and only bearded beauty, Mr. Slimsh. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing good. Happy to be here for Tavern Talk. Licking a few wounds, but
Yeah,
it's all good.
we'll get into that here in a moment and talk more about that. Underneath me, with the top button buttoned, and apparently very surprised by the power hour that's happening during the Wicked Wednesday recap, is our boy, Mr. Cassidy. How you doing tonight, sir?
Same thing. I'm licking a lot of wounds after being swept last week. Feels bad, man. But it's Tavern Talk, so it's the best day of the week.
Best
Obviously.
day. And finally, here with us on the show tonight, the captain of the team, which is the Dream, the one and only Mr. Rad Dreams. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing quite well. How about yourself?
Oh man, look how sophisticated he is. He's got the wine glass, the blazer, I'm a little jealous. A little
Only
jealous
the
of
best.
that
Only
dapper
the best
gentleman
for
over
you.
there. Oh, look at that, bringing out the best in Tavern Talk this evening. So, normally we have to rush through things, and it's super sad, but tonight's a nice night of really getting into the details of what went down in Week 1. A lot to talk about. But before we get to Week 1, let's talk about what's quickly becoming my second favorite night of the week. It's really challenging Salty Saturday for me, and Wicked Wednesday. Last night was the fifth official Wicked Wednesday. Um, and another good turnout, somewhere around 25 to 30 players, somewhere in that seems to be our mark week in, week out. If you haven't experienced it yet, you should definitely come and check it out. Um, I know Slimsh and myself participated in it last night, and Cassie took a new approach to it. Cassie, why don't you tell the folks what you did last night for those who aren't keen to playing in it?
Yeah, so we're getting to that time of year where college basketball ramps up, and our favorite thing called March Madness happens. And if you're not familiar with March Madness, it is a 64-team tournament that is played to determine the national champion. And on Thursday and Friday, there's 16 games each day being played from like 10 a.m. to like 8 p.m. And there's always 2 or 3 going on simultaneously. And so the TV crews are popping you in and out of each game. And so last night I said, I'm going to March Madness this. And especially in like rounds 1 and 2, I was just spectating in and out of like every single player, and it was a ton of fun, and I didn't have to get salty about losing. So that's the way I'm going from now on.
Yeah,
Popping in and out.
yeah. I was hearing some of the play-by-play Discord of the other matches that were happening. Rad Dreams, have you had any experience with Wicked Wednesday yet?
Yeah, I've played in, I want to say 3 out of 5.
And how have you been enjoying the experience?
So far it's been really solid. It really helps out, especially if you're not sure what decks to bring for your matches. What I typically like to do is test out some ideas during the tournament. If they work, I'll bring them. If they don't, then I scrap them. So it's really solid for that.
Yeah, it's definitely a good place for testing grounds. I use it almost
Power
the same
hours
way.
happening now, right?
Oh yeah. Oh man. Oh baby. I completely forgot that we're officially in this.
Oh man.
So
I've been handling it.
wow, Slimsh, you might have to help. Listen, I'm gonna keep the questions going. Slimsh, you keep everybody drinking. So listen,
Alright.
when you see Slimsh
Got you.
drinking, we're all drinking.
No,
If you
I'll
can't-
yell it out.
Oh baby.
Oh
Well,
man.
for right now, drink. This is the first one.
Ah.
See how long we go through this.
Yeah, right. So, this week was rather interesting as we had a few new faces in the Final Four. Alex Strazen made it to the championship, but he's no stranger to the top four these Wicked Wednesdays. He brought a pretty strong lineup. Unfortunately, he knocked me out and sent me to the consolation match against Detrucci. But I was looking at Detrucci's path. It wasn't exactly a cakewalk. Should we be scared about this Harry General? He is still the 5 seed, right? I'm double checking myself.
Yeah.
Should,
I'd be afraid of Detrucci. I paired into him 1 week in Wicked Wednesday, and we had a nice little 5-game series. Drink, by the way.
oh man, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I ended up facing Detrucci on Wednesday, and he ended up sweeping me.
I didn't get to play him. I don't want to shout out his strategy here, but I just want to know this: were there Murlocs involved?
I
Not
don't
in the
think
one
there
I
were.
faced.
No.
Not from what I've been hearing.
Yeah. So we had two
The other
5
day, yeah.
I was just gonna say we had 2 5 seeds end up in the top four. You know, you 1 through 3 spots need to step it up a little bit. And if
Yeah.
you're like,
Asana's really good at 3-0ing those 1 seeds
Listen,
out there in the league, apparently.
the 4 and 5 seeds are just representing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't overlook us. Although I have to say, and I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way, I don't think Asana is a true 4 seed. I think her play is much higher.
3, 2, 1, drink. Yeah, she's been getting really good. I've been noticing that she's I hear like in Discord often she's getting advice about about certain decks and their builds with D Lyman. I can definitely see a lot of the style of his decks that he likes in a few of the decks that she's been playing, and she plays them really well.
So
yeah, she's getting up there.
So we did talk touch on all of them there. A few names I just want to give a shout out to that. All right, so actually I got to cover some because I saw in the chat too. So for those under the misconception that Wicked Wednesday is exclusively for troll decks, in other words, if your name is Brunson, while there are those who do like to come out and try things, you know, a little out there, a little different. There are many of us bringing the try-hard decks, and for those of you who are out there trolling, you can't get mad at us for going hard. There's €3 on the line, and
that's a lot of euros.
That's a lot of euros. And if you're Slimsh, you almost have enough to cash out. So, you know, there's money on the line, man. That's maybe a good latte and a half from Starbucks right there. So,
gotta fight hard for it.
So make sure that you guys check out Wicked Wednesday if you haven't. Mange does a fantastic job putting it on each week and making himself available throughout the tournament to help you out with any issues that you're having. Strivewire for me stopped working, and the poor guy had to enter all my matches for me. Handled it like a champ. Appreciate that, Mange. And I'm totally stalling so that we get one more minute in this Wicked Wednesday Power Hour because.
It's actually about 5 seconds. You can just take another drink.
All right, guys, we survived the Wicked Wednesday Power Hour.
Not bad.
No, it was a good way to
pretty
get.
tame.
Yeah. So it's a good way to kick off the show, get the juices going there.
Yeah.
I don't have work tomorrow, so I'm finally trying to kill off this bottle of Tito's that was. Yeah, that's the same one from like 2 Tavern Talks ago. Last week I had to go beer because I had a big Friday ahead of me. But we got week 1 all said and done. We had a few, what I like to call, not necessarily upsets. Maybe some were upsets, but some that were matchups that didn't quite go the way we wanted them to. And actually, one of our Q&A questions brought up by Mange. We'll go ahead and answer it now because we would have answered it anyways, but it was a good question. We want to acknowledge it, so thank you, Mange. Mange asked, besides the Dream Team over Team Rank 5, which result for Week 1 surprised you the most? And he wants us to answer this as a group and individually. So I personally have a couple in mind, but I wanted to hear from you guys first. Do you have any thoughts on this, Slimsh?
Yes, I have one that sticks out to me, and it's very close to home. It's the Gosu Casual versus Supreme. Feels bad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got rocked.
This is one of those, like I said, I don't think it's so much an upset, because it's Supreme and like that's not necessarily a shocker, but I don't think, and I'm sorry, Slimsh, don't take this in a negative way, because actually it's a vote of confidence for you guys. I did not expect it to be as one-sided as it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if we had lost the match, but it was pretty convincing from there. And worth mentioning that, I mean, we got major points on the back of a DQ, so yeah,
half of
hurts
your
a little
points.
bit, little surprising. You don't quite expect that going into a week. Obviously, I don't think anyone ever expects that.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you on Supreme's victory. Other than my team's victory over Team Rank 5, I was definitely surprised by that the most.
Well,
Pleasant
actually,
surprise.
While we have you here, Rad Dreams, why don't you kind of take us through your matchup with Team Rank 5? Because many of us, I'm just gonna say as bluntly as possible. All 4 of the Tavern Talk crew members last week had the Dream Team in dead last in the league.
One of us had Supreme in first, though, and look what they did.
And with the exception of Cassidy, we all had Team Rank 5 number 1. What does this win mean for you guys? And was there any special strategies or practices going into this, or was it business as usual? Take us through the week that was week 1 for the Dream Team.
Okay. Well, I wasn't able to make it to the last Tavern Talk, and I wanted to go over, some of the changes that we've been implementing to, basically prepare better for our matches. And what we did differently against Team Rank 5 is we analyzed what they brought last season. A lot of the players, like for instance, MV Parker versus Comp, I have to give a quick shout out to that, is he specifically teched his decks against what he knew or had a strong idea of what MV Parker would bring. And then him and I practiced that. And he got a feel for, what to expect from him. And then as for, Smoked Salmon in his victory over Steve Cassidy, sorry, Steve.
A Druid opener. I'll never forget.
He ended up facing you in Wicked Wednesday, and he performed pretty well against you. And so from that, he got a really good feel for how you played. And
when we played in Wicked Wednesday, though, I didn't play any of none of the decks that I played this past week.
Okay.
No.
And then unfortunately, we did have a disqualification, so that definitely hurt us. But Lemur definitely brought it home in his match with the reverse sweep. But yeah, one special thing that we've done is Carlos or Comp made a spreadsheet which detailed every team's picks, bans, and like tendencies that would really help us, kind of guesstimate what to expect. So he really stepped up this season in doing that, and we've just been really practicing a lot, looking at the classes, seeing what beats what, just really buckling down, I guess.
Yeah, you look at that lineup, and there's so many. I mean, just from top to bottom, like wow wins for you guys there. But how good does it feel to have a guy like Lemur join your squad, one of the strongest 5 seeds in red last season, coming over and taking on? I mean, if you look at the PR there, it kind of feels David and Goliath. We all know Killajive. Cassie, who's a member of his team, has spoken very highly of him, and I think we all feel that the accolades are warranted. How does it feel to have Lemur step up in such a big way for you on this new team against somebody as well respected and, dare I say, feared as Killajive?
Well, one thing that I wanted to say is, like, for this season in particular, it's come full circle for me, because I've been with THL since season alpha, and Lemur and I were actually on the same team in season alpha, and now we're on the same team again, but this time I'm the captain. So it's really, really coming full circle for me, and so it feels really nice to have him on the same team again, and work with him again, because we had such a really strong chemistry before, and with him coming back, it's just rekindling that, and his victory just made me feel so happy. I mean, I was literally jumping for joy. But as soon as he posted up his victory, we created a Facebook group for the Dream Team, with just us members, and we like to communicate in that. And he was detailing his matches and everything like that. When I was reading it, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so great.
Just a quick question for you guys. Am I roboting for anybody outside of Slimsh?
You
Yes,
are.
you are.
All right. So give me 2 seconds here, folks. I'll be right back with everyone. And in the meantime, the crowd can hear me, and the fellas here on Tavern Talk cannot. So I'm going to take a moment to talk about Slimsh's life on Tinder. We're going to talk about Tinder, which means we're all going to be drinking.
What really surprised me outside of that match, where we made a couple huge boo-boos. Killajive brought Control Warrior, which is awful, especially in the tournament meta right now. And then MV Parker, I honestly don't know. We all missed this during the selection process, but he was very easily banned into bringing Warrior, Rogue, and Shaman, which are all classes that have access to weapons, and they're all classes that rely on weapons. And all of a sudden, every single deck that MV Parker was playing against on stream had a Harrison and at least one Ooze in it. And so we learned. Hopefully, Team Rank 5 doesn't mess that up again to that extent, because that was embarrassing to look like. Like, I, as a teammate, was like, oh my god, why didn't I even see that and mention that to Parker as a possible?
Next thing you know,
warning
you'll
sign.
be bringing Hunter, Mage, and Secret.
Yeah, Hunter Mage Secret.
Right.
So that sucked. What I was really excited about, and pleasantly surprised with, after being on the Golden Wisp hype train. Oh wait, no, that's week 2. Sorry. Week 1, the pure strategy, despite losing, a lot of what we thought was their power, they put up 18 points on Top Deck Kings, who theoretically match up with them really pound for pound, if not even better.
Yeah.
And pure strategy came out and dominated.
Well, if you look at
power rankings, Top Deck Kings was relatively low, usually in the bottom 2, if not 3 teams people
Yeah.
were putting them.
If you actually look at Cassidy, they earned themselves 18, but with the points bonus, they got themselves to 21, putting them actually atop everyone
Yeah.
for
Wow.
week 1 in the
Nice.
THL.
Pretty good.
Yeah, they
Which
won 4 matches and their only loss was a 2-3. Like they straight up just put in work, which is really cool to see.
Mhm.
And Bowen's got the crew back.
you know, you got a top spot like Yuri, and I was really happy to see Brock or Bork as he goes by on BattleNet. I was really happy to see the free agent pickup get himself a big 3-1 to open up his stay here in the THL. He was a very active member in the forums trying to find himself a spot on the team.
Mhm.
Quite a few
Mhm.
members of the league spoke up on his behalf to his character and quality of his play. So shout out to Bork for grabbing a 3-1 in there and to pure strategy for fucking taking out the lumber and bringing the top deck kings behind the tool shed and giving it to him. Yeah, I went there.
Like,
I went there.
kudos to them.
Um,
Definitely.
So I was telling a little story about Tinder while I was away from you guys.
Oh.
Yep. Cheers.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, you
Wonderful
know,
app.
I don't mind if she's 19 as long as she really is 19.
Oh.
I'm just gonna say that and move on.
Where is that girl? Hashtag find Cassidy Lemur's girl.
Go get her, Cassidy.
Where is she?
so-
I'm tall
It's
enough,
like,
baby. Where are you at?
Like
Yo.
Finding Nemo, except with lemur.
Drinking for this one.
Yeah.
Y-
Like, I'm curious if Lemur actually found her on Tinder or if he, like, reposted a picture of a Tinder girl. Things I need to know.
She swiped
Because,
left.
that
This is
girl-
crucial to the plot.
If she's within 8 hours, we can make it work.
She swiped left.
8 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So wait,
leeway
hold on.
there.
Cassie, do you measure Tinder girls in hours? So, by the way, Tinder again. So I need to
Oh,
finish
I
this
never
drink.
thought. I'm going to start doing that. Like, I would drive so many hours to see her. I mean, you kind of do that based on when you look at how many miles away they are when you're swiping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 22 miles away? Nah. If you were
Nah,
4 miles away, you'd get a right swipe.
Exactly.
do
If
that.
you're within
That's
a 10
real-
mile
that's real.
radius.
Gas money, man. Gas money.
Oh man.
Exactly. Gas money, time.
Not to mention
But
time.
it's like
Proximity to my favorite sushi restaurant, because, that's where you got to take them. You know?
It's gotta be all you
There's
can eat.
Things you got to consider.
The
Oh.
basics.
like
by
the
the-
girls on Tinder. You have to be willing to pay that startup fee.
Startup fee.
Oh, it went there. By the way, the
You have to
pomegranate
pay
juice,
The troll toll.
the
Yes.
pomegranate cranberry juice was definitely the call. So, good advice there, fellas. So back on to not Tinder hour, which that's another Tinder. I'm making a drink. I'll catch up here in just a second. Sorry. Too weak. All right. So we talked about Team Rank 5 and we're at
some of the other upsets. Harry Generals.
yeah. So the Harry Generals and those filthy role players, they go ahead and they get themselves into the first tie of the season. Both taking, was it 13 or 14? I forget exactly.
13.
They both take 13 points away. And we all kind of seem to have a generally high opinion of the Harry Generals going into week 1. And I don't want to say a low opinion, so I'll say a lesser opinion of the filthy role players going into week 1. Does this set a tone for the filthy role players to begin the path to the comeback? Does this make the Harry Generals a little weaker than we thought? What does this match mean for you guys? Or does it mean anything?
Well, I'm not going to read too much into it, considering there was a DQ involved. Kind of like we didn't really take those points seriously as the Gosu casuals. That DQ, although it was pretty close to begin with. If you look at those filthy role players, one of the players that won was their new pickup, Arbitrary Armor, who I haven't heard much about, but he took down Poker, who we heard quite a bit about. Alex Straza held his own against Danny Rogers, didn't beat him. Josh Sampson did okay and was streamed with some pretty adventurous decks from what I saw. So I don't know. I think it says fairly good things about those filthy role players, maybe more than what we gave them credit for in the power rankings. But I don't know. We gotta determine that. I think.
So, I think I think this is a time where we have to mention on the heels of the DQ that happened, we came to learn that Mr. Boom Boom Hall has some in real life stuff going on, some IRL happening that is going to take him, unfortunately, away from the league. Been a solid member for a long time. A guy who's been very active, at least with me, in the forums and the threads throughout the THL community. Uh, but I'm actually really happy, as sad as I am to see Boom Boom Hall go, really happy to see a very quality player in Markshire is going to be returning for the Harry Generals to fill in that spot for the rest of the season. Markshire left Entropy at the end of last season under amicable terms. He had some stuff that he thought was going to take up more of his personal time than it actually is. Uh, Both Byron and myself tried to twist his arm to get him to come back for either Continuum or Entropy, but really happy just to see him back in the league. Solid dude, solid player. What do you guys think this is going to do for the Harry Generals overall?
I think it makes them better, which is terrifying.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you, Cassidy. I mean, I've known Markshire for a good while, and having him on the Harry Generals will catapult them to greater heights.
He's a 3 seed. Oh, he might be a 2 seed now. What's his exact PR?
He's 390. He was just under 400 because I was doing that
Okay,
math.
and Poker beat Jing in week 2. Yeah, he's a 3
see.
seed. That's terrifying.
I see Markshire at 422 in the week 2 page.
That is
dominating.
Firpo Imbolc quality 3 seed right there. That's scary.
Yeah, so definitely a great. I mean, he used to. I won't hide it. He used to run our practices. Him and Byron would switch off who ran the entropy practices. The guy's got a great Hearthstone mind. Also just a really solid person. The Harry Generals continue to stack that roster with just quality people.
BRB.
Yep. Look at this, guys. We already made Slim run out of beer. Mission accomplished. All right, so moving on from the upsets / weak showings to some of the stronger showings. Oh no, he spilled. That's even worse than running out.
Oh, party foul.
Right?
Have a drink.
So, I don't know if this means anything. To me, it was kind of a good intro to the league, as we had a lot of question marks about them. The superheroes squeak it out over Continuum. Does this actually state anything, or do we still know too little about these teams to really gather much information from this win?
I kind of want to follow up on that, Jack Sox.
Yeah.
With the superheroes, we know a lot about Super Sam and Monkey Warlord because I mean they've been with the league, pretty consistently, and Super Sam, he's very vocal and present with how he plays, what he brings, his skill level, all that good stuff. But for all the other players, they're kind of like it's a mystery almost. So I guess we can't really make any assumptions till I guess our match with them, and then say till week 3, we can start get a feel for who they actually are.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I would like to go ahead, Slim. No, go ahead.
And then at the same time, there's a few question marks on Continuum side. So we got Despair, who's new, correct, and Adidas as well.
Yeah, there are quite a few new faces over on the Continuum side, but if you look at players like Almace, who sat in the 1 seed prior, and you have Crayon, who is a known entity of the league, hit Legend for the first time last season, and Grim, who took home a pretty respectable record last season and showed a lot of improvement towards the end of the season. There are some known factors over on the Continuum side that we could kind of attempt to measure the superheroes by, but there are those question marks in Adidas and Despair to try to figure out just who is Continuum and what does beating Continuum mean when trying to evaluate or gauge the superheroes.
Exactly.
but it's a lot of fun to watch these new teams and how they're developing and who they are capable of, going pound for pound with. And 14-13 is about as close as a victory as you could get in this league. Um, so good job, superheroes. Well fought, continuum, and can't wait to see what you guys bring in week 2. Um, Not to shout out my own squad here, but there was only one team that finished higher than Entropy last week, it being Pure Strategy, Hambo, and well done over there. Um, but this is kind of another question mark win. It's even something we've questioned within our own camp. Um, the Boom Squad, I think we all agree, has a lot of potential, but they're still one of those question mark teams. From an outsider perspective, what do you guys see this 20-10 victory as? Is it a statement win, or is it still too early to tell?
I
Well,
think between a new look Entropy and a new team in Boom Squad, I think it's definitely a statement that Entropy is for real, kind of like we predicted with the new pickups, and Boom Squad is still definitely a question mark. But then you have like Asuna winning a Wicked Wednesday, and Danny Wu won his match, and you still have D Lyman and Brunson, and like, so we don't know. Like, you can't write them off, but it's kind of it's an early season warning sign, I guess I would say, giving up so many points so early on.
Mm-hmm.
y-
Go ahead,
yeah, I
Silvers.
mean the middle of those matches, I mean they were close. They were 5 game series. I believe Brunson's was streamed.
Mm-hmm. That
Um,
was.
I still gotta catch up on that one, but yeah, I don't know. I think Brunson still got to get himself figured out. Not sure about D Lyman. I know Asana's going big places in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that. With her as a 4 seed, I think she can only get better and better within this
Yeah,
league. And I'm not so sure about Tiny Hippo. You played against Tiny Hippo Jack Sox. Maybe you can shed light there because I think that's one of the more
Mm.
unknown players of Boom Squad.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that he brought great decks. A lot of times in the 5 seed, you'll see people bringing things like Beast Druid. Um, but definitely brought the right decks. I played the rock paper scissors game perfectly. Um, that 3-0 victory was not as one-sided as it seemed. It was
mhm.
it was just a case of I caught every matchup I tried to catch. Um, so I put him behind the 8 ball. It was just he was done to begin with, not by any fault of his own, but just because I chose the right lineup at the right time. Um,
Yeah, to follow up on your question, I, I think Entropy's win is definitely a statement for sure that they're a force to be reckoned with. And then kind of what Steve was saying, that, Boom Squad is still kind of teetering on that, you don't really know what all to expect from them except from like D linemen, really.
mhm. Yeah, they have a lot of potential over there. Zather will be the first one to tell you that he credits his win strictly to the fact that he brought things that were outside of the normal rotation within
Mm-hmm.
Hearthstone. Decks that they weren't troll by any means. They're things that he's very comfortable with and spent a lot of time developing. But I mean, who puts somebody on Reno Mage? You know, so he will be the first one to tell you that he credits a lot of his win to catching Asuna off guard with his lineup. I definitely think Brunson's one of those players that if he buckles down and gets the focus just right, he could be somebody that people need to watch out for on that team.
Mm-hmm.
And as we talked about in preseason, it'll be interesting to see whether the Boom Squad uses this as an opportunity to improve and evolve, or whether they'll implode on themselves with a tough Week 1 loss. If you've been hanging
Mm-hmm.
out in the Discord, I definitely think it was the former rather than the latter. They definitely seem fired up and ready to go for Week 2, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, Supreme. I know we were touching on them, but we saw. I hate to call it out like this, but it's kind of a trend that you can almost 50-50 count on. Their only loss this week came from a DQ by Moo. Um,
Yep.
so it's something that I just want to say it's not to call out Moo, but just as a PSA for the league in general. Um, as a captain and a player in this league, a lot of time and effort goes into planning each week. I know people like Verde make extensive spreadsheets. I'm sure Rad Dreams and Slimps, you guys as captains have your routines that you go through each week to get your players prepared. Over on Entropy, we actually have 3 members that I run a practice. Twiz runs a spreadsheet. And then Furpo and Salt are kind of like our recon people. A lot of work goes into preparing each week. So when a match is missed, it's not just a disappointment that you don't get to play your match. It's also like kind of a waste of people's time.
On
Obviously,
the team level.
yeah, if
Yeah.
if real life stuff happens, that's understandable. What went down with like Boom Boom Hall, and I know that other folks
Yeah,
have.
Night Smoke ended up having some real life stuff that prevented him from playing his match.
And that's
If
gonna
anybody
happen.
wants to not submit against me, I won't be upset. Won't feel like you wasted my time or anything. It'll be great.
He'll take that. He will take
Just want
that
to throw
3-0
that
victory.
out there. If you want to throw inside, I'll lean in and take the hit by pitch, and I'll take my base. That's totally cool.
So just do yourselves, do the league, do your opponent a favor, do your best to get your matches in. But obviously, guys, if real life stuff comes up, just be honest with your opponent. Let them know. Don't leave them hanging, so they could go on and either make other plans, or if you know in advance, let your captain know so they could sub you out. It's not getting kicked off the team. It's just for a week. You're not there. Um, Ask who was it, Synergy that took Twiz for a week? Ask them how subbing works. They were pretty happy with the results. Mm. So, moving away from week 1 and on to week 2 and the excitement that is to come for next week. I don't know if you guys won't be able to see it. This weekend on Saturday, we have a great Salty Saturday lineup. Kicking it off is the one and only Rad Dreams, going up against I Am Plan B of the superheroes. That's going to be kicking off at 9. And these times, guys, are subject to change. As you know, some matches go longer, some matches go shorter. Some people like to play mirror matchups of things like Freeze Mage and Control Warrior. You people should all just, uninstall the game now. But then we're going to follow it up with Entropy Salt against Noob Central's Cutthroat. And we're going to have the nightcap of the return of Mr. Pastry to the stream, which, from what I understand, if you stream him, he wins. So, Cream Puff, good luck, sir. And good luck to the Top Deck Kings as they look to break that streak of Pastry streaming success. But that's
just epic, too. Like, hitting 1 in 14 top decks and 1 in 8 rags. Like, not just stream success, but just RNGesus.
we were talking about this earlier in Discord. If you're being streamed, you must tech in Rag, because on stream, Rag only hits for lethal. So,
just wait till Boom's gone, maybe.
Right. So, just a quick question, Slimsh, how is Tinder life?
I'm not on Tinder. I'll take
That
a
was-
drink.
Man,
though.
you are missing out.
That was a Tinder reference for those who are not realizing that is a drinking rule. Just wondering, on your Tinder profile, do you have your real height or do you lie?
Well, okay. Well, what's my real height? Am I 5'2" or am I 6? You guys tell me,
I don't know, man.
because I don't know anymore.
You can be whatever
My
you
real
want to
height's
be.
on there. It's listed for girls like
These-
the girl Lemur put up. Just gotta put it out there, you know.
Yeah, because if
You
you're
put
under
a little
6,
cliche at the end, you're like, if that's what you're into. By the way, I'm really tall. Hey there.
hey there. By the way, guys, I
I'm
just want
not going to be friend zone.
no friends. It's finally, we did it. Reddit, we did it. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm showing everybody. We finally finished the Tito's bottle. It only took us 3 episodes to do it, but it's gone.
We did it, Reddit.
We did it, Reddit. So glad I'm not working tomorrow. All right, week 2.
I do not do Tinder either, Dexox. I am happily married.
You know, funny story. I just gotta go on a tangent real quick because this was actually hilarious. For those of you who know, I used to work at a different school than I work at now, and I was I was really close with a lot of students there. Really cool kids. Miss a lot of them. Still stay in touch. I've written a few college reference letters for quite a few of them. But they made they made a troll Tinder profile for me when I left.
Oh
No.
boy, that's incredible.
so,
Fantastic.
so I get this email from a former coworker, and they're like, I'm a little confused. Why are you on Tinder? Unfortunately, they erased it before I found it, but there were some screen caps of it, and apparently I'm 7 foot tall.
Oh, hot damn.
Yep, I'm a basketball player for the Knicks.
Nice.
A couple of other fun facts that, if you know anything about me, I've been an all-state athlete in every sport I've ever tried, but got cut from every basketball team that I ever tried out for. It is the one sport that I cannot play to save my life. I could dribble like a dream, but do not ask me to shoot. Actually, don't ask me to pass. Don't ask me to do anything that involves the ball leaving my
Hey,
hand.
you'll be a good solid bench player. How about that?
Somebody's got to keep it warm.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, so on to week 2 and things that aren't Tinder related. There's one more Tinder reference for you guys. Mm. Um, we're going to come back around to the Salty Saturday matchups because we may discuss a few of them within our analysis of week 2. Anything we don't hit, chat, get angry, remind us that we didn't talk about it, and we'll come back and touch on those matchups and make our picks as needed there. But one of the first ones that really interests me, because this is a matchup of some teams that have been around for a while, and they've always kind of been those they're top tier, but I don't think anybody's ever used the word elite, except for the fact that the Gosu Casuals won a season, but still, that's kind of not good enough. You guys are the Baltimore Ravens. You're still not elite. Um, we have the Harry Generals facing off against the Gosu Casuals.
That's good.
That's a matchup.
That's like the best rivalry. That's not a deemed rivalry.
It's getting there. They did knock us out of the playoffs last season.
Yeah. But since we're deeming the last week of the season rivalry week,
Yes.
this is probably the best matchup up until then.
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
Accurate.
It's so slim. Like, you guys got to be. There's already a result in, right?
Yes.
Mr. Jing has found himself a 2-3 loss, right? To
Yes.
poker. Are you guys hitting the panic button? Like, to put us in the mind of a Gosu casual.
No need to panic. Lots of games left to be played. Yeah, I played against Andy Rogers a lot, so that's a really cool matchup to run into. A few of these are going to be a little bit rarer. Adams probably played Markshire before.
Actually,
Yeah, so that was a little surprise to get thrown our way. I don't know if they've met before.
Yeah, so just looking at it, like, Jing Buddha, if you're the Harry Generals, you're expecting to win that match.
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
expecting to win the Markshire Adam match.
Yeah, you are.
And if you're the Casuals, you're expecting, probably not to the same degree, but you're still kind of hoping that Slimsh beats Andy Rogers. And you're
Mhm.
definitely
Four
looking at
seed.
Michael to beat Gurn Blanston. So
Yeah,
look,
the
on
5
paper,
seed's pretty close.
everything's kind of going according to plan. And the 5 seed is going to be, like, whoever wins the 5 seed wins the match. I would bet the house on it.
that's
So I'm curious as to when that match happens.
That's a cool little thing to have in play there. The 5 seed
Might be
mattering
tomorrow.
so much in this matchup.
Mhm.
Mason, you and I both hold down the beloved 5 seed spot. I mean, I think it's a little different for us because it's in my hands when it happens. But how do you feel when the week comes down to the 5 seed matchup?
I feel very nervous at first, and I start to tense up a little bit, and just that's the best way I can really describe it, honestly. Because a lot of times, if you're in a close matchup with a really good team and it comes down to you, it's kind of stressful.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I've kind of adopted the philosophy this season. It's kind of become my mantra. Is and don't take this as egotistical. I hope this people view this as the motivational tool I use it as. I think I've been a 5 seed for way too long. I think a great deal of it is I've never taken the game seriously, and
Mhm.
I've taken it as an insult to myself that I'm still down there. It's become my challenge this season. I am not a 5 seed. I don't think I play like a 5 seed, and I think it's pathetic that I'm down there. And I need to prove it first to myself, and then to this league that that's not where I belong, and I got to move up. So if it comes down to a 5 seed matchup and I don't win, it's an extreme disappointment. Because I don't think at this point in my Hearthstone career that I should be losing to anybody that's, yeah, I'm calling you out, Red and Orange Division. I don't think I should be losing to anybody in the 5 seed right now.
Yeah, this guy's winning fireside gatherings. You better listen to him. I don't. I would take what you're saying here pretty seriously, honestly. After what you've done in those fireside gatherings, beating like what frequent top 100 legend players
I
and
do what
getting
I
money off of it.
I do what I can. Actually, I'm in a huge pickle when it comes to that this weekend. I'd say pickle. Yeah, I'm 90 years old. I would have to go defend my crown on Saturday. To try to three-peat at that fireside. But
Hmm.
both Slapaho and Hot Agent Girl aren't going to be there because they're going to their respective prelims this weekend.
Mm.
And there's a brand new board game bar opening in my town that's running a special on membership this weekend.
Ooh.
So I've got to choose between going to defend my crown or
Or going to the new place.
going to the new place, who I think would be a better fireside gathering venue. The location that we've been going to is kind of in the middle of nowhere, whereas this is in one of the three biggest cities within Connecticut, which is like saying it's in one of the top 1,000 cities in the country because Connecticut is like the size of a shoe. Um, but I kind of feel obligated to go defend my crown, so I'll see what happens with that. But we digress here. It's almost like we're talking about Tinder again. Drink. So Slim says no need to panic. Um, and
Nope.
then it seems like
I mean, it's not as though it's in the bag, but there's just no reason to be worried.
Mm.
Like I'm not even an extremely heavy favorite over Andy Rodgers.
well,
If a favorite at all. Like I think we're relatively evenly matched
here's a
at
big
this
question
point.
for you,
So
Slim.
I don't know. I'm just gonna toss it up, see what happens. Yeah.
Here's a big question for you. And
Yes.
I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
know.
get the politically correct answer. No, you don't know. You don't know yet because I didn't write down in the.
I think I saw it and then you deleted it, but you can say
Nope,
it.
nope. This one's coming from me. And
This is brand new.
here's the
All
deal. So
right.
I'm gonna get Slimsh's PR answer first, and then I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna come to Cassidy and Rad Dreams for the real answers.
Oh, I
Oh,
can do that.
so
Let's see what
Slimsh,
happens.
you
Yes.
guys drop this week 3-2 or 2-3, I guess, because you would have the two, right? You guys drop this week. You're starting the season off 2-0.
Yeah. Oh, two.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Listen to what I mean, not what I say. Guys, I misspoke,
Uh-huh.
which is forgetting how to speak. For those playing at home, let me drink. Mm.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you stuttering.
so what does the 0-2 start mean for you heading through the rest of the season? Do you hit the panic button then? And how do you right the ship if you go down 0-2 this week?
Doesn't mean that much. Team Supreme and the Harry Generals are very strong teams. I predicted them to be as such. Um, Not the end of the world. Better matches to come. Particularly ones within our own division, which we can then capitalize on. Of course, it sucks to miss out on the points, but no, I wouldn't panic about it.
So I open it up to Rad, James, or Cassie, whichever one of you wants to jump on it first.
Are you saying if
Alright.
I were the Gosu Casuals or if my team lost again?
If you're looking at, if you are an outsider, look at the Gosu Casuals, or if you're on the Gosu Casuals. Actually, I want
Okay.
I want you as an outsider. I want you as an outsider, Cassidy.
Okay.
So here you are as an analyst looking at who they've played, who they have yet to play. What does 0-2 for Gosu mean at this point in the season?
Let me flip through their schedule really quick. Um, I've kind of, I would say I'm not hitting the panic button. I would say my division games become must-win games. Like,
Yeah.
and kind of on the closeout, I don't think you can afford to go any worse than like 5-2. And that's 3-0 in your division, right? Is it a? Oh no, it's a 7 week. It's only a 7 week regular season, so you'd
Right.
have to go. You'd have to probably go 4-1 the rest of the way, which they're more
Right.
than capable of doing. And in their division, like beating your division opponents is going to be worth so much more than what we're doing right now. So I wouldn't be panicking. They're playing two of the best teams in the league the first 2 weeks. But as an outsider, I would look at that and say, okay, maybe they're not top tier like we thought they weren't, and they still have a lot of work to do to get to that top tier. That like I know I placed Supreme and Harry Generals in on the outset, and I know other people did too.
Hmm. Rad Dreams, anything you'd like to add to that thought?
Pretty much, it'd be echoing what Cassie was saying. Being a part of the Go Suit Casuals or even an outsider, you don't necessarily have to, press that panic button just yet. Those two teams that they face at the beginning of the season are, pretty top tier teams. So the fact that they were able to hang with them, says something. So as long as they're able to perform well in their own division, I think they'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're in a good spot personally. And being on the Gozu Casuals, I would say, if things don't go well week 3, then you make adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to liken this to being a Chicago White Sox fan because I am.
Hmm.
There tends to be this situation that happens to us every single year where we do really well outside of the AL Central, um, and then that 3 to 4 game stretch against the Minnesota Twins happens at the end of every season, where we drop that series. We're up 6 games, um, or 4 games, sorry, and we drop that series. And what used to feel like this large cushion becomes a moot point because not only is it a win for your opponent, but it's a loss for you. It distances you that much further behind where you need to be. So while I don't think 0-2 is where the go-to casuals want to be, as long as it's 0-2 outside of the conference to two of
Mm-hmm.
who I think many of us picked to be the potential playoff hopefuls for that division.
Yep.
Um, I don't think it's necessarily panic mode, but I think you have to start looking towards where you're going to pick those wins up in the division and really making sure that those folks who do skate by Supreme and the Harry Generals get punished in divisional play by you. I think that those teams then become a must-win situation for
Hmm.
you. So we'll see how that plays out later off in the season.
Definitely.
But you know, the Beard of Beauty, we're always pulling for you. If this were Tinder, I would I would be swiping right on the Ghost of Casuals. I think that's gonna be a new game.
Yep.
I
And then you
think
drop a pickup line.
I think
The
the
Ghost of Casuals were a Skittle, they'd be a red one. You know why?
Mm.
Because I like the red ones.
the Tinder game is strong with this
Wow.
one. I think we're gonna have a
Wow.
new segment called Swipe Right, where
That
where we're
seems pretty solid.
Every week we feature a different THL member as our Tinder profile pic and see how we can do. And we let it sit and marinate for like 4 days so that like
Yes.
the other people can swipe right over the course of that time so we can hopefully find matches on stream. Oh man.
Oh man, I support this message.
So, just so you guys know, a PSA on the real note, a thought that we've had over here on the production side of Tavern Talk to bring a little more fun and intrigue to this show that happens every Thursday is we are looking for people that are interested in producing and organizing a 5 to 10 minute segment. Think of yourself as like the newsman. Or the not the newsman shit, the weatherman. I just misspoke. For those playing at home, take a drink. So if anybody's interested in producing something that they could be available either every week or every other week for, hit me up when this is done, and we'll make that We'll make that magic happen. All right, so let's continue on with talking about THL things and not my ramblings. Um, Boom Squad versus Continuum. Both drop week one. Continuum in a little better shape than Boom Squad. Uh, is this a must win for either? Um,
Hmm.
and because our both effectively unknown, can we really like make judgments off of week one, or does this kind of become the week where we really see who Boom Squad is and who Continuum? Who are they as teams? What are you guys' thoughts on this matchup?
So both of them lost to somewhat established entities. Boom Squad lost to the New Look Entropy, and Continuum lost to Super Sam and his boys. And I feel like both of those were expected out of the gate, at least on my end, because Continuum was kind of put together last minute, and Boom Squad was just a pretty heavy underdog against Entropy, in my opinion. So, like looking at it now, I think whoever wins this week becomes a little bit more solidified, and whoever loses, like there starts to be questions about them as a team, in my opinion, because they're both in last
Definitely.
place in their divisions right now,
Yep.
and then they're gonna play each other, and you would think it'll be close. Like if one team blows the other one out, we'll be on Tavern Talk next week talking about it because it'll be kind of a big deal. So I'm really interested to see how that goes. I still feel like Continuum is super unknown as a team. I don't know anything about Adidas, Despair, and I know a little bit about Crayon, but not as much as I should. So I'm really intrigued to see how they match up with the Brunson, D lineman, Asuna triumvirate that I do know quite a bit about. So I'm super intrigued there.
Hmm. Um, Rad Dreams, I'm sure that you, much like me, being within the Red Squad, knowing that these are teams that we already faced Boom Squad, but Continuum will be on our divisional play later on.
Mhm.
Um, what? How are you guys watching this match, and what are you kind of expecting to see out of it?
What for the Continuum matchup
Yeah, with Boom Squad.
with Boom Squad? Um, I'm actually expecting the the Triforce, I guess, of D Lyman, Asuna, and Brunson to really bring it. And I don't want to say that they'll win, but I definitely think they'll offer some comp to Continuum. Definitely keep an eye out for the 5 seed matchup with Grim. Um, like you said before, he's had some solid play last season and has been improving as a player. But to kind of follow up on what Cassie was saying, we don't really know too much about everyone else other than like Almace.
Hmm.
So I'm personally, as the captain, I'm definitely keeping an eye out on those unknown players to kind of get a game plan together. For when we end up facing Continuum.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my thought process about that
Mhm.
matchup.
Slims, do you over there in the lovely land of the blue green folk, um, you know, the Gru folk, when you look at this matchup, is this just kind of like I don't expect either of those teams to make the playoffs, or is there information to be gained from a matchup like this? Even being,
No, I think they can. I think either team can definitely make the playoffs. I think in terms of which team needs it more, I think it's Boom Squad
mm,
because a lot of us were writing off Noob Central and the superheroes to some extent with Squad above them, but week one shook out much differently.
yeah,
So I don't know. I think if Boom Squad's got the potential to be a strong team, and I think they do. I think they should
Oh,
show it here against
speaking of Tinder, we
Continuum.
got a Tinder message.
oh
Sorry, keep
baby,
going.
nope.
There you go,
For those
Cassidy.
playing at home, that's a drink.
Oh man, this girl messaged first too. That's a
Oh,
sign.
Just
she wants the D.
She wants the the Ashbringer.
for
Put your
those
faith in the light.
for,
Put
for
your
those
light in the
doing things
face.
that aren't Tinder related, but I said Tinder again, so I'm gonna drink. within the chat there, I just posted a link to our blog. It has updated rankings from the THL AP, who has still yet to out themselves as who they are. But they've altered the rankings based on what happened week one, and they give you these nice little arrows of who went up, who went down, and a little bit of the reasoning why that happened. So
Pretty
check.
legit.
Yeah, actually, it looks really good. And by the way, shout out to Eric for the graphics. Actually, no, this one was Detrucci. Gotta give a shout out to Detrucci on the banner for this. Um, gotta give credit where credit's due. I actually really like the banner. And I hope to see more work from him in the future. So take a look at that if you haven't already, and we can see how things are playing out throughout the divisions. Here's a fun matchup. This matchup, I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the ones I have my eyes on the most this week. Because I still don't believe the bullshit of Archon Storm taking the season off. Um,
Hmm.
I don't think that when you put that group of guys together, um, I don't think they can just hit the cruise control button. I mean, they might hit it, but then they tap the brakes and they don't hit resume afterwards. Um, so I am very interested to see. They tied with Noob Central week one, but you have Team Rank 5 coming off of what I have to assume was a disappointing loss for them, looking to come back and make a big statement over somebody that's respected as a powerhouse within this league. But at the same time, I feel like just dropping the name Team Rank 5 out there is like putting blood in the water for the great white that is Archon Storm. So we have an insider here with us tonight as Cassidy represents Team Rank 5. I can see him right now clearly answering this Tinder message,
I am.
which I
Spitting some
respect.
game.
I respect the Tinder game, but Cassie, put us in the minds of Team Rank 5 as you go into this Archon Storm week.
Oh.
Oh boy, oh boy.
So we, on top of the couple big mistakes we talked about earlier in the show, we had a pretty good attitude about losing last week. We just kind of admitted that there were some cases where Hearthstone happened and
Hmm.
some crazy draws and top decks, stole a game or two on top of the mistakes that we gave away games on ourselves. And even with all of that, we're only 2 points out of the playoff race, right? Noob Central has 14 points. We have 12. The Superheroes has 17. So we're in it. We feel pretty good about that. Our mantra is just kind of get into the playoffs and then dare someone to beat us. And so we feel good there. Archon Storm is a heck of a test. And it'll be a really good measuring stick to see if we really can stack up the way we think we can. If it's kind of close, even if we lose, I think we feel pretty good about it. But if we can get a win, I think obviously we'd be really galvanized. And to my knowledge, we have 2 matches being played tonight, so I'm kind of sitting on the edge of my seat waiting to see how
my
Jesus
God.
and Parker do, because our 1 and our 5 are both really strong. Like Jesus won last week
Mhm.
and just keeps doing this, Lord and Savior bit that he's got going on. And then hopefully, if they can both win, we have like Imbolc, myself, and Killajive to steal 1,
Mm.
maybe 2 matches.
Mhm.
So we feel pretty good. I'm really excited to play Viriday because I haven't played Viriday since like June, I think. We played a best of 5, like week 1 of season Kappa when I was still a total pleb at this game. And so right now, I feel like we are 2 totally opposite players, and we're probably really even at skill level. So I'm super excited to play against Viriday because he's such a cool guy, and I love talking
Could
to
be.
him. And that's
Could
going
be
down
a good
tomorrow night.
time.
So
That's palm. Is that could be a Team Rank Friday extravagance?
it certainly could be.
Okay.
We have to find someone to stream it, but we're definitely trying to make that happen. I have to talk to Viriday about it, make sure he's cool. I'm sure he is. So
Yeah,
I'll be
that'd be
playing
awesome
my
to see.
match I would otherwise.
Well, if it's streamed, hopefully there'll be a VOD. One thing I do have to say that I personally am really intrigued to see, as somebody who was beaten very badly by Nubasaurus last season, um, he has this tendency to bring things that you're not expecting. Um,
mm-hmm.
and I just, Jesus has been playing very solid Hearthstone lately, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but also in that very, I, I, I guess the only word I can really think of here is traditional role of like,
Yes.
you play the decks that make sense to play, and that's part of the reason Nubasaurus put such a whooping on me is that I brought the decks you expect people to bring, and he brought things that were so off the wall that I didn't know how to respond with what I had. It's not the normal, okay, he's gonna do this on turn 6, so I'm gonna do that. So I would love to see the consistency that has been Jesus as of late up against the I don't want to call it randomness because it's definitely planned chaos that is
Especially looking at his lineup, I'm super curious if he does something like that.
yeah. So
It's a very traditional looking lineup.
I'm excited to see what happens with this one.
Hmm.
So we're gonna do a
Yeah, I'm. Oh
hold,
yeah.
hold on one second here, Slim. We're gonna go on a little Jack Sox vacation again as I once again reboot Discord. Uh, and while we're gone, because they once again can't hear us, we're gonna talk about why the 5'2" manlet is afraid of Tinder. Because he's afraid that he's gonna post his picture. Then when he comes back in real life, people are gonna be disappointed that he's 5'2" and not 6 foot tall like he claims to be. So we'll go back to Discord now, and for those of you playing at home, you could drink. And we are back.
There we go. I've been talking about Archon Storm Team Rank 5 here.
No, it's okay. We went on a little Tinder adventure. So those of us that were
Oh
on
my
my little Jack Sox adventure, we got to drink while you guys here probably talked about Hearthstone related things.
Yeah, a little bit.
So fill us in for those of us that missed out on probably some great analysis from Slim Shear. What were you?
I don't know how great it is, but I don't know. For what we've heard about Archon Storm for taking the stuff, I've been seeing them in Discord. Like there's 3 or 4 of them at times in that room, and I think Verde's been helping Nubasaurus out quite a bit. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think they're taking the season a lot more seriously than we may
I
have thought.
totally agree.
Yeah,
Definitely.
at Team Rank 5's expense. I think it may have been even running into you guys that inspired it.
Mm,
Yeah, so I'm really interested in this one. I think it's going to be close, and yeah, I'm really excited.
I think there's
Just
certain names
overall.
that if you dangle in front of people, you just
Yeah.
have to step up. Like I refuse to believe they might go 0-6 the whole. I mean, well they won, so or no they tied.
No, they
Uh,
lost. Oh, they tied. That's right.
they might go 0-5-1 the rest of the season, but when it comes time for Entropy Archon Storm, I know they're bringing everything to the table. I can't help but to feel
Hmm.
that that's the way they're going to approach uh, Team Rank 5. It's no disrespect to any other teams out there, but there's certain teams that I just love beating. There's names that when you put them out there, it's like I feel like shit when we lose to them. I feel on top of the world when we beat them. I feel like dangling Team Rank 5 out there is one of those teams that I want to beat. And
Yep.
I can't think that Archon Storm feels any differently than that.
Oh, Viriday loves beating us aggro mid-range players. It just makes him feel so superior about himself as a player. So he's putting the time in. You can guarantee that.
So let's move on to my favorite team to talk about as the one and only Entropy takes on former champions Noob Central. Um, I don't know what I was trying to write in here, but this
Me
is one thing
neither.
I do know for sure. Uh, that week one, by the time Twiz came to play his match, we had already secured the victory for Entropy. So the majority of our points came from the 2 to 4 spot as we were 12-6. All Twiz really had to do was show up for his match, and we were on the right path. Uh, but we already have an early result this week of Twiz dropping his match 2-3 to Stiller.
Hmm.
This is a different mindset. Last week we started off with I want to say it was a 3-1 win, courtesy of I'm going to give credit to Furpo, but I think he won 3-2, and I'm too lazy to look up the stats. Followed by my 3-0 win, and then Zather doing what he did on Salty Saturday. Does this 2-3 loss, starting things off, smell trouble for me and my boys? What are your guys' thoughts?
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
That is, we said it at the beginning of the season, and I think you can say it still now. I think that is your weakest spot in your lineup is Twiz at number 1. And you are Cutthroat against Salt is also a tough matchup, we'll be honest with you. Because Cutthroat is just playing amazing Hearthstone right now, beating everybody. THL, not THL, doesn't matter. He just wins. But Furpo against Nade is, in my opinion, a pretty heavy favorite for you guys because I think the world of Furpo. Zather versus Gemini is probably the biggest PR differential in the week. I'm scrolling through right now. I'm not seeing anything even remotely close. It's like 150
Probably.
PR.
It's
And it's a
hard to
new
get
Hearthstone
that.
player against a
Yeah.
long-time Hearthstone player. Like
Right.
that is super favored. And then God's Gift is also, I know he won last week, I believe. But he's a brand new Hearthstone player too, relative to you. So I think you're pretty favored there as well.
And we heard what
So,
Jacksock said about how he's
yeah.
handling his matches.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, so I think you guys are still in a really good spot
Mhm.
to win that
Just
matchup.
to correct some stats there, and this is not a shot at God's Gift, as he had to go up against Gideon Echo, perhaps the Hearthstone of the 4th spot in these
Scary.
divisions this season.
Yeah.
He did
Gideon
get
Echo, Killajive, tune in.
yeah
Hopefully we get that one
he
streamed.
did get 0-3 by Gideon Echo, but I don't think you can
Oh, okay.
I don't think you can measure that accurately for the player that Gideon is versus
Yeah.
God's Gift there. Um, Rad Dreams, what do you think, man? This is 2 teams that I know you've got a close eye on, going up against one another within your own division here.
Mm.
What are your thoughts?
On which team?
That would be Noob Central versus my very own Entropy.
Oh, okay. I hate to say it, and I know you're not gonna like to hear it, but I do think that Noob Central is favored against you. But that's basing what my thoughts are on how they performed, last season. The returning champs, facing off against, kind of a newly reformed Entropy, but the statement that you guys made season 1 definitely speaks volumes. So I'm not gonna say that they're gonna dominate you or anything like that. I definitely think you'll give them a run for their money, but I'll have to give it to them like 3-2.
It's fair. We use it as fuel for the fire. Don't ever apologize for picking against us. Unlike we don't humble it. We're not like the folks over at Team Rank 5 where we humble it. We take it, we chew that shit up, we spit it out, we light it on fire, and we use it to beat the shit out of our opponents over here at Entropy. So bring on your picks against us. Don't ever apologize for it. It just adds to our desire to win. Um, Actually, we'll probably sit there and go, Jax, they picked us to lose. Yep. You know what that means. Yep. High five when we win. That's actually how it really goes over on Entropy. Usually there's a keen thrown in there somewhere from Twiz. But that's kind of how we roll over here. One thing I would like to point out that's kind of interesting here. We're also calling this the battle for the couch, as as Gemini,
Salt and pepper.
yeah, as Gemini and NACL, aka Salt and Pepper,
Oh,
are I will call it romantically involved.
I got it.
And
No.
they share a domicile, so it'll be interesting to see
man.
how this week plays out, depending on
It's a
who
drink,
wins.
by the way.
Oh man, that was a drink. Dude, I might have to go get myself another alcoholic beverage here in a minute. So that's gonna be a fun little thing to keep your eyes on, folks. Especially if she wins and he loses. That's gonna be the big one for me.
Oh yeah.
So
I
we'll
wish
see.
they were in the same seed.
Yeah,
They're really far
Well,
off, though.
the other reason that I think it would be very interesting if she wins and he loses is that I think that would be a big time shocker in the 4 seed, and for her to throw that in his face over being Zather would be great. So, oh snap! This just literally just
Yeah,
happened in chat.
I pointed that out so long ago and no one noticed. Feels
What's
bad,
that?
man. That
Apparently,
Necrohavoc is subbing in for Continuum. I pointed that out like
now
15 minutes ago.
I was
no
under
one
the
noticed.
impression he was a player coach for Harry General. So,
Yeah, he's subbing in.
But welcome back to a week of hell and heartache, Eric. May may Byron lead you to victory, as he has me so
Yes.
often.
He needs to submit his classes, by the way.
Yes. By the way, everybody that has not yet submitted their classes needs to submit their classes. So let's
Please
move
do.
on. Let's move on to things that are fun to talk about, such as the Dream Team versus the superheroes.
Ooh, I
so-
got a lot of stuff to talk about for that.
Well, I have a question for you first, and then I'll let you run with it. Okay.
What's up?
So you guys are off to this awesome start already, with Lemur securing a 3-2 win for you early over Monkey Warlord. So this is 2 weeks in a row where Lemur has taken a known entity of the THL and a seat higher than he was and pulled off a big win for you guys. Um, can we start the chance for, at least within your team? Can we start a Lemur MVP chant going? Like,
I don't know. Was that an error? Because I don't know if they played this week yet.
They haven't submitted results on either side yet.
really? I had
Smoke Salmon Beast mode.
Yeah,
'Cause
they
the-
haven't
the-
played yet.
The only person on my team that has played and has a match done with is Smoked Salmon.
that could be the wrong seed. Yep, you know what I did? I read the wrong seed, or maybe I just read my notes wrong, which is off to a good start.
No.
I just gave the credit. You know what? I wanted Lemur to win. That's what it was.
Okay.
So if
I mean,
if
I
Lemur,
definitely
by
think
the
he's
way,
going
guys,
to win, but
if Lemur wins, confirmed, I am what do they call that? Where a clairvoyant, where you could like see. No, that's dead people.
yeah.
I'm calling
Yeah,
rigged.
clairvoyant.
So, or perhaps I've just I don't
You
know.
just jinxed him so hard.
But-
Schemata's THL.
So
Oh,
you're up.
I'm knocking on wood.
So you got big win week 1. And by the way, I misspoke, so we could all drink to that.
Oh god. We're getting there now. It's the exponential climb towards this rule here.
Towards despair.
So you do have the big win week 1. And you got 3-2 victory to start off your week 2.
Mhm.
At what point are you guys gonna start waving the finger in the face of all your haters?
That's not what we're really about. Really.
Attaboy. I knew you'd give a classy answer.
Take the high road.
Hey, there's less traffic up there. By the way, my wireless headset's going to allow me to continue to hear your answer, but I am in need of another beverage, so I'm going to walk towards the kitchen while you
I'll
continue to give me a
continue
great
on that.
answer.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily want to say that my team's gonna basically wave the middle finger at everybody who's doubting us. But what we're gonna end up doing this week is we have to make a statement and basically say that week 1 was not a fluke. Week 1 was not just about Hearthstone things. It was about us prepping. It was about skill. It was it wasn't. Yes, there was RNG because Hearthstone is a lot of RNG, but I'm just gonna say that we have to make a statement this week against the superheroes to prove to everybody that we're a force to be reckoned with. Our victory over Team Rank 5 was no accident.
So it's
It was a
proven the
happy
point.
accident.
It's making Bob Ross, Kappa Ross.
Capros.
It's proving that the hard work does pay off, and that RNGesus is not the only savior in the Hearthstone world.
For our matchup against the superheroes, like I think I said it before, the only matchup I'm really concerned about is Super Sam against Comp, because we all know how good of a player Super Sam is.
Which I have to say, and you know what, this might be shots fired, but I'm okay in taking these shots. He beat MV Parker, and I would
Yes,
not
he
be
did.
one to put Super Sam above MV Parker on my my list.
Ooh, that's a shot.
Personally, I feel that MV Parker and Super Sam are on the same caliber
Mhm.
in terms of like skill.
If anybody wants to interpret what I said as on the same level, all I said was not above him.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
But anybody that wants to interpret it the way I meant it, feel free to do that as well. By the way, I feel kind of like a little bitch doing this, but I opened the fridge and it seemed fun. Um, I had champagne in there, so we got a little bit of the bubbly going right now. I don't know why I felt like celebrating, so fuck
And
it.
Wine
the
glasses
other
and
Whatever
champagne.
gets
This isn't
whatever
a
gets you
tavern.
going.
other match
Whatever
that
gets you
I'm really anxious to see, uh, Night Smoke versus Jerry Damage, because Night Smoke wasn't able to play week 1, unfortunately. So I'm really anxious to see how he's improved.
Yeah.
That will be interesting. I skimmed over that one a little bit too. It kind of did the same chin scratching. Yeah. So here's the question for people not named Rad Dreams. All right. Because Cassidy, you guys as well as myself, we did these ratings where we put the dream team at the very bottom of the pile.
We did.
We did. If they win this week, is the dream team for real?
Sure.
Are they for real? Well, the superheroes, they're number 1 on top of their division for now off of 1 week's worth of data. But I don't know, like we had some question marks there as well, so I think there's still more to be determined, but I definitely think it's good signs pointing towards the dream team here.
Yeah, I want to see Night Smoke play
Yeah.
because I think that's a very important part of their team going forward.
Yeah.
I would have to agree.
The 3 seat's one of those pivotal spots that can make or break a team
Yep.
just because there's so much variance in the 3 seat.
Yep.
So that'll be a fun one to watch. All right, so this brings us to Supreme versus those filthy role players.
Well, we
so
already got a taste of that matchup.
um,
Margo.
That's a very good impression.
So we have for those who haven't been following along, there's already 6 points in favor of Supreme and 1 point in favor of those filthy role players. Moo has proven that when she actually plays her matches, she's going to put the smack down. And Cheese has proven that he knows how to kill Murlocs, so he's clearly done all of his quest on the water side.
Really?
Yep. I'm going to
There's a
call
really-
that match over.
Really
That is
important
done.
PSA here. I think I saw Josh Sampson in the chat earlier. Arbitrary Armor, who's playing against Dear Jason, submit your classes. You got like 40 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that matchup's over.
No,
I'll be honest
no.
with you. Supreme's not dropping the remaining 3. That's over.
No, I don't
Sorry,
see
guys.
Supreme losing at all.
We'll see. I could see Josh Sampson taking down Prometheus.
Well, let's
Yeah,
play the
maybe.
what if.
And then
Let's
you
play
got
the
Dear
what if
Jason.
game, right? So if Josh Sampson, if we play the under the philosophy that Josh Sampson beats Prometheus, you would hope that Casually Foxy beats Brainiac just based on the 100-point PR favorite that he is.
Yeah, maybe.
We have seen that PR doesn't necessarily mean all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
But let's pretend.
Foxy's bringing Priest and Rogue. That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it is.
we watched
Risky.
we watched what happens
Really
when
risky.
Rogue is your last class left last week on Salty Saturday. For anybody that didn't catch that, go back and watch what happens when Rogue is your only remaining class and you've got 2 wins.
And they teched heavily against you in the single deck format. They didn't even bring those things
In their own rogue.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
They planned it.
there's that happening. But that does put it on. If we play the what if game and Josh Sampson gets his win, and things end up going in favor of Casual Foxy in the PR system, that does put it on Arbitrary Armor versus Dear Jason. I'm
Nope,
not listen.
Not happening.
The only time
Dear Jason is sitting here prepping for Hearthstone.
prelims.
What am I looking for?
Prelims.
Yeah, the preliminaries for the Winter Championship.
Hmm.
So I like him to win in this format because it's probably all he's been doing the last 4 days.
So here's the other thing too.
Yeah.
I'm not picking against Dear Jason ever. unless it's the Troll Bowl, because he'll get disqualified on his deck list alone.
True story.
Um, until that happens, if I were a betting man and we had a pick'em slip for THL, my pick'em slip starts with Dear Jason every week. Uh, until somebody proves otherwise, and I do believe he's dropped matches. He dropped a match in
Yep.
season 1. He's not unbeatable,
Did
but
he drop? Like he may have just barely dropped plural matches. I think he may have only lost 2.
yeah, and
Yep.
I think he's probably the best player in the league.
so
Probably.
the point being,
Straight up.
people that play percentages, you're not gonna pick against him, especially when there's 40 minutes left and your opponent has not yet submitted their classes. That might be an easy 3-0 win without you even having to play. You continue to prep for your prelims. So that is the truth of those filthy role players versus Team Supreme. And I started like 1,000 times in that statement, so please feel free to drink.
This rule is exponential. It's a good thing that we're coming.
You know what?
We're getting to the end soon.
It is a good thing that we're getting to the end. And actually, I do have to give a shout out to the man we were just talking about, Dear Jason, for actually supplying us with quite a few questions in the Q&A, of
There you
which I
go.
think we're going to take 2 of them. Means we hit yours earlier. Brunson, I would like to answer yours now. Brunson asked if Jack Sox does butt stuff. And I said with only people that look like Bob Ross. So get that afro
That's
going,
fair.
bro. But on to questions that matter. And I initially wanted to stay away from this question. But then I decided I really like it because I want to take a shot or two. I want to fire a round or 2 off. And the question goes like this, courtesy of Dear Jason. Who do you think is the most underrated player in THL? And who do you think is the most overrated? I'm going to give everybody a
That's a
second to
tough
chew
question.
chew that over for a second. Who do you think is the most underrated? And who do you think is the most overrated? So, in one hand, you're going to be building somebody up. In the other hand, you are going to be shooting somebody down. Um, so
Yep. And you can't pick teammates. Don't do it. Don't pick a teammate.
That's fair.
Don't do it. Because we
damn.
all want to say, oh, this teammate that nobody gives enough credit. No.
Okay. So now I have to change
Yeah.
my underrated pick.
I'd actually like to do that, but
All right.
I wouldn't.
So, well, I genuinely think that
Otherwise,
one of
you're
my
gonna
teammates
listen
is
to me
most.
fluff and bulk more than you already
Yeah.
do, and you don't
All
want
right.
that to happen.
So I have to pick I have to repick my underrated player. So give me.
Most
I
underrated.
got my underrated player, but I'm still trying to think of an overrated.
Overrated.
Oh, let's be nice first. Let's all be.
Oh
nice.
yeah,
So
we're
go
gonna be
ahead and start
nice.
with that.
We're gonna be nice,
We'll
and
start off with nice.
then we'll be mean after that.
Yes.
Okay, so I got my underrated. I got my underrated, and my overrated. I can't wait for. I can't wait for it. I don't think I've seen this person in chat yet, but if they are in chat, they will definitely respond. I would also like to give a shout out in chat to Zather. You're supposed to be playing your match at 3 minutes. I hope you have contacted your opponent about that. Just putting that out there, and best of luck to you, sir. Hope that works out for you. And by you, I mean for us.
Yeah.
All right, who's your most underrated Rad Dreams? You can start this.
Okay.
What we think.
All right. My underrated player pick for this season will be Grim, and
Nice.
my reasoning is because he came into the season 1, as a new guy to the league, and he performed phenomenally. I picked him for the MVP actually. Most player I would say for being a 5 seed player, able to perform very very well. So I definitely think he's that is my pick.
So I'm gonna hold mine till
I'll look it
last.
up.
Or unless Slim, do you not have yours?
I don't have one, so
Slim,
There's
do you?
so many.
I have mine. I have a few that I'd pick as under player, but I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Cassidy here. I think he puts
Oh,
himself down way too.
Stop. Stop.
I don't think he's
No.
the sacrificial lamb that he calls himself. I think there's I don't know. There's a lot of potential there in Cassidy. So
Feels good,
I don't know.
man.
I would
I
have
think
to.
he's underrated.
I would
he
have
needs,
to say.
he needs some fluffing too.
Yeah.
He needs fluffing too.
No, I'm the
I don't think
support. I just
I
help
don't think
everyone.
I don't think he gets fluffed over there in Team Rank 5.
While
man.
your
No, I
pick,
do.
while your pick
Mange
is
is a
not
good
my
fluffer. He
pick,
just doesn't want anyone else to know it.
while your
I
pick is
hear
not
him
my
say mean
pick,
things, but I guess he fluffs behind the scenes.
He does.
while your pick is not my pick, Slim, I have to agree with you that. Excuse me. I do think that we see Cassidy taking a lot of losses, but I think that's because of being thrown into the 1 seed as a natural 2 seed player within this league. I think if he
But
was,
then I get swept by smoked salmon, guys. Or as Imbog likes to call him, smoked salmon. But
Salmon.
yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
I think if we saw Cassidy staying at the 2 seed and playing an entire season at the 2 seed, we would see
Flip.
much higher numbers from him than we would with this flip flop of him having to go to number 1 occasionally. Um, so I have to say I agree with you while he's not my pick because my pick is actually somebody that I look at as on a similar drink level as Cassidy, but has the added benefit of Yuru Yuri sitting at 500 above him at all times,
Mhm.
so he never has to worry about losing the 2 seed. And that would be the one and only Mr. Ham Bowen. I think he is one of the strongest guys in his seat in this league that doesn't get
Absolutely.
enough recognition because, I mean, let's be honest. If you're on the Cavaliers or you were on Miami X amount of years ago, everybody's talking about LeBron. I mean, occasionally you get the nod. Occasionally they're like, "Oh, D Wade, you haven't retired yet? Congratulations, dude." Um, but you know, my pick for most underrated player in the THL goes to Mr. Ham Bowen. He's consistent. He had a great season 1. He started off with a great season 2. I know we're only 1 week into it, but I also see him doing well this week again. And I think that he may end up in the MVP conversations before the season is done.
I would agree.
Cassidy,
He's definitely up there.
it's on you, man.
This is so tough.
I'm trying to think overrated over here. That seems extremely hard to me.
So like
Underrated, you're
honorable
fluffing,
mention,
but
underrated. I'll throw out Firpo, who I think's underrated. I think Arthur's. I think most of Entropy's underrated, to be honest with you. But I think most underrated. Oh man, I am gonna say, I got it, Mr. Almace. I played with him in the All-Star event back after season 1. He was the 1 seed on Entropy last season. He had a little bit of a rough record win-loss wise. He is one of the only people to beat Dear Jason. True story. And he just is a really, really, really strong Hearthstone player. There is a fireside here in Houston on the 28th of this month. Hopefully he'll be there because I know I will be, and I'd love to sit down and chat with him in person. But I do
That'd
think
be
he is
so
a
cool.
super strong player. And we never, I mean, everybody in here knows about him. I don't think the league knows about him. And so I'm kind of rooting for his team this season to make some wins and gain some notoriety because he is just a really, really strong player. And I think he's very continually overlooked. I think he actually fits that underrated mold perfectly.
Good one.
All right, so now comes the moment of truth.
Ooh.
Where, listen, I will fire up the bus and start driving. You guys just grab bodies and throw it under as we go. So I will take the first shot to break the ice for everyone. And I'm going to preface this by saying I think this person is a better Hearthstone player than I will ever be. I think their ladder success is phenomenal,
Uh-oh.
but
Stealing me?
I don't think their ladder success has translated to THL success. I hope you still duo queue and league with me after this, but Mr. D Lyman, I have to claim you as the most overrated player in THL based on your record. At the 3 spot, I would expect you to be wrecking, sir, especially
Yeah.
with your high ladder finishes, your knowledge of this game, and your ability to lead others to be awesome. You gotta start winning, dude. I'm just gonna call it out there objectively. You gotta start winning. I still want to support you, bot lane, or you can support me, I'll ADC, but I gotta call him how I see him, man. Sorry.
Gotta bring the league into this.
He's my duo queue partner, man. He's good at League. He's
He
really.
Hey,
is.
girl, you're not that good looking, but you got nothing else to do on a Saturday night. Why don't you come over?
I thought it was Friday. I thought it was Friday, girl.
Oh yeah, Friday girl. That's right.
So I started the bus up, man. Start throwing bodies under. I'm gonna leave whoever's
Alright.
brave enough to step up next. It sounds like Rad Dreams is good to go.
Yeah. I hate to do it, and I'm gonna have to follow you actually, Jack Sox. D lineman was my pick as well.
Oh my God, he got 2 votes.
Yeah,
He's gonna get quiplashed.
I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but
He might be at rehearsal for all we know. God, guys, he's gonna watch the pod.
Oh
but
man.
the reason why I picked D lineman is I see him posting a lot in the forums and on the Facebook group and everything like that. But I look at his record, and then I look at his ladder finishes, like as you said, Jack Sox, and I'm like, something's not adding up here. Like maybe he's just more apt to play on ladder, but not really well versed in playing in a tournament format. Or I have no idea, but
That's not the case. He plays so many online tournaments.
yeah.
Yeah, and he
no,
just hit
I'm-
top 16 in Tuesday Night Hype 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on his end, but I'm gonna have to agree with Jack Sox and pick and go with D lineman.
Oh wow. Oh man.
God, you guys.
Let's rotate upwards, Mr. Slimsh.
Oh jeez.
You guys. I was picking
This
D
is
lineman
fun.
too.
We should do this segment every week.
Oh shit.
I feel so
Nice,
bad.
David, three.
That's
Like
three.
I think D lineman is a better player than me, but for some reason it just like he was picked up like last season Archon Storm. They got the best girl, they got D lineman, but
Yeah.
he just didn't work out.
He was
in
the
the
junior
league, and
prom
I don't
queen.
know.
He was the
Like,
junior prom
I
queen
got-
and could not
No, he
repeat
was
senior year.
prom queen.
No,
and then
he
hit
couldn't
freshman
repeat
15.
senior year.
At
No, he
this
hit the
stage,
freshman 15 in college. That's what
At
happened.
this stage, I picked
D
him for
lineman
this,
is a prom queen.
but I mean, I can only think that moving forward, D lineman's going to like reverse this announcement here. Like up until then, I think you can see why it's being picked this way, but I don't know. Like I have so much respect for D lineman as a player. I think he's a better player than I am. Really, like just the style of decks that he plays and the extent that he plays them and how far he goes in these online tournaments. Like he plays a lot of them. He finished what, third in some random Japanese tournament the other day that he was telling us about on Discord. Like he plays a lot on online tournaments, and he's finished top 100 in ladder a few times even. So I don't know. Like
Oh man.
I think his opponents are just bringing tempo mage versus him or something. like
Yeah, those unstable portals. Wow.
Yeah.
Cassidy.
Sorry,
Oh,
D
man.
lineman. You know I think the world of you.
Oh man.
What you doing,
So,
Cassidy?
this is tough because it's like the underrated. Like I've got a handful here that I would throw out. The most overrated.
I don't know.
So like some of these guys I think are overrated because maybe I've started a little too much hype train on them, and then certain things have happened, or maybe their stock has fallen a little bit. Like
Look at
the
chat
Super
here.
Sams of the world. Twiz is he 0-2 this season now? After I hyped him 1-1. But I think I gotta say Andy Rogers.
Oh.
When I
No,
got
don't feed his
into the
flame.
league,
Don't
like I
feed his
started
flame.
streaming, I started following, I started caring. He was like the golden boy, right? Like everybody's, oh man, Andy Rogers, he is the man. He is unbeatable. He's the best. And like I watch him play, and he plays wonky decks that feel like out of the meta, but like not purposely out of the meta, just kind of out of touch, like a step behind everybody else. And then he loses to some players that I don't know if he should lose to. And I feel bad saying that because he's another guy I played in that All Star event with. He is really really good. But being heralded as an elite top 3, top 5 player in the league, and he has been over the last few seasons, I don't think I would put him in that category. And so I would call him overrated. He's still way better than I am. Like Jacksock said, probably a better player than I will ever be. But I think he's probably overrated given the status he has attained. And I don't think he has maintained over the last couple seasons.
Wow. Wow.
Wrong word.
So there you have it, folks. The Tavern Talk bus. I will take responsibility for driving it. These guys just threw the bodies underneath it.
Yeah, specifically the D lineman.
Yeah.
Oh man, rest in peace, D lineman.
Rest in pizza.
I really hope he still talks to me after this. Well, with that being said, folks, we've gone a little over our time, but we appreciate you spending this extra time with us. It becomes that sad moment where we must do our parting thoughts for the evening, and we'll begin as always with our guest. First off, Mason, thank you for making it tonight.
Thank you.
I know we had
very
technical.
much for having me.
Awesome, man. Anything you want to say to the folks before we part ways?
My parting thought will be that we will beat the superheroes, and that we're looking forward to week 3.
Right on, man. Mr. Slimsh, your parting thoughts for the folks at home.
Favorite day as always, Thirsty Thursday here. Hope everyone's matches go well this week. Hope we get to see a lot of them on stream outside of Salty Saturday, Team Rank Friday, what have you. If you and your opponent are open to your matches getting streamed, shout them out on Facebook. People will jump in as they usually do. And yeah, go Sioux Casuals. While a loss to the Harry Generals wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, it would definitely be good to bounce back a bit. So look out for that.
Mr. Cassidy, your thoughts for the folks at home
And
before
Rip
we
D
part ways.
lineman.
Sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings. I love you all. You're all great Hearthstone players. I suck. It's fine. Go Parker and go Jesus. We need to get off to a good start this week.
All right, guys. Just a quick PSA before I part ways. Anybody that's looking to get into some post Tavern Talk shenanigans, I'm talking HOTS, I'm talking League, I'm talking Rocket League. Any of the things that are fun and laughing. You do this every Thursday, Slim. Every Thursday you do this, and you threaten to go drive back to work, and we have to talk you out of it. So
I'm gonna go.
So anybody that's up for any of those things, hop in Discord. Actually, where's the damn thing? How do I link Discord? Let me create a instant invite for any of you who are dumb enough to not have the Discord invite. Hop in here. Let me know. Let's have a little community time, playing some fun games, having some good laughs the rest of the evening. As always, we'll be here same bat time, same bat channel next week. We'll talk about the week that was, week 2. We'll give you your Wicked Wednesday Power Hour, and then we will give you the hype on week 3. And love you all. Thanks for spending your Wednesday with us. And we are out. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.